Okay, so let's give you 3 tips for your personal power, for your wholeness. The first one that comes to mind that would be a really important thing to do is to start looking at and even journaling with, or making a note of, or keeping some kind of diary of it or record of it. Start asking yourself the question, where do I feel like I lack in my life? Where do I feel like there is something missing? And the key words here are lack, emptiness, missing, and the other word is need. But we're not talking about physical necessities or physical lack. So we're not talking about money or food or shoes or handbags. Okay, those are jokes. We're not talking about physical needs. We're talking about emotional needs. So look back at your life and start being aware of, start noticing on a day-to-day basis. Look for where you feel like you lack, where you feel like there's a sense of emptiness, where there feels like a sense of need, or where there feels like something's missing. And start making a record of that, because that's going to tell you, it's going to tell you where the missing parts of you are, which is really important in you reclaiming yourself and stepping up to the plate to be all that you were born to be. Second tip is, this one is going to sound strange and it's going to sound brave. It is brave, it takes courage, but it's really critical if you can understand this and apply it. You see, many, in an attempt to avoid the pain of what they're experiencing, will push away parts of themselves, okay? And by trying to push things away, we think we're going to win. We think we're going to win the war, and that thing that we push away from our lives is finally going to be away, gone forever. So let's just ask you this, to check whether this is actually real, if this is really working for us. If you try to push your anger away, for example, feeling angry and you decide, I don't want to feel angry, I don't want to be angry, because anger is pain, it looks ugly, it hurts people. So you take your anger and you push it away. Here's the question, and I'm sure we've all had enough life experience to answer this. Does it work? Does the anger eventually quietly disappear and dissolve away into the midst of time? Or does that anger sit and wait for a time to pounce on us and leap into our lives? The truth is, unfortunately, it waits. And not only does it wait, it gets bigger. You have to imagine that between you and any part of you is an elastic band. Okay, there's not really, but just imagine. And if you took that part of you and you try to push it literally away, what would happen? Does the elastic band get tighter or weaker the further you push away? It gets tighter. So, by pushing a part of you away, you give it power. You make it stronger. You increase its size. You don't take its power away by pushing it away, you give it power. You don't make it less important in your life, you make it more important. Even if it's out of view, even if it's unconscious or in the shadows, it becomes shadow. It becomes powerful in the unconscious or the subconscious or the shadows of your mind and your life. So, the second tip is a hard one, and you want to do this gently, and you want to do this in your own time and in your own perfect way, and coaching might help. There are many beautiful therapies in the world that can support you, spiritual traditions that can support you, psychological tools that can support you. But in essence, this is what has to happen. Slowly but surely, all those parts of you that are out there on elastic bands need to be brought back. Which means that you need to bring them in gently, or They might just suddenly snap and you find yourself alive with that thing that you've been trying to push away, the parts of you that have been shut away. But the second tip is you really want to stay. You want to stay with whatever you're experiencing and start bringing those aspects of self back. And yes, it will feel painful. But pain is something temporary and suffering is something that happens over a long time. Pain can be felt the moment something is brought back for a little while as you are experiencing it. But then you are free. Then you are liberated from it. The suffering is from pushing it away. The suffering is the long-term keeping it away from you. So what we do is we choose to suffer instead of experiencing pain. And what I'm suggesting is that you can free yourself by allowing yourself the temporary pain so that you are free of suffering. And the second thing that happens is that when you free yourself of all these elastic bands, you reclaimed your power and you become whole again because all the missing parts of you are reclaimed. Now the part of you that's going to struggle the most with this is the mind, because the mind will come up with excuses like, I shouldn't do this, and this fear and this belief system and this judgment. So you're going to have to notice that about the mind. That's what the mind does best. In fact, I fondly refer to the mind as the torture chamber. And I don't know if you're blessed to have a torture chamber, but I definitely have one. That my mind and my thinking is often quite torturous. Whereas the center of you, or the center of your being, the center of who you are is at peace. And we can't often find that center of us when all our energy is pulled in to these parts of ourselves that we are at war with, that we are in conflict with. So the second step is to start literally bringing in those elastic bands, which is what we call integrating or reclaiming all the different parts of who it is that you are. The good, the bad, and the ugly. To reclaim your true self and to establish your personal power, bring those elastic bands in one at a time if necessary, and just start to rediscover what it feels like to be whole. The third tip for personal power is actually something we teach on all of our courses. It's a simple technique that might take a bit of getting used to or practice, but it's just awesome. In fact, I include it when I teach business presentation skills, when I teach people professional speaking skills. Even one of our students who is a professional golfer, he says that he was able to use this tool to be a better golfer, and he went on to being ranked as 10th in the world as a trick golf artist. They're unbelievable, the amount of skill and talent this man has, and when he was able to just really find his power and find his sense of self, he got the confidence he needed to go and do trick shows and to do them really well at a world-class standard. So the third tip, before I get carried away, is what I call my ABCs. And you'll hear this in the intuitive mastery subjects and courses as well. So your ABCs are simply this. You must put your attention, A, in your body, B, in the center of your body, C,